Well, in some news just coming in, the Indian naval warship, the INS Chennai, has reached the hijacked vessel MV Lila Norfolk off the Somalia coast. The Indian warship has launched its helicopter and issued a warning to pirates to abandon the hijacked vessel. We're also being now told that the Indian Marine commandos have already entered the hijacked vessel as well. The Indian crew on board are safe, we're being told, and the Marine commandos are well on board and ready for operations. For the very latest details on this, we're now being joined by Siddhant Sibal. Siddhant, what else do we know at this point?
Well, the Indian Navy has confirmed that basically two things have happened. First, INS Chennai, which is on a patrol in that area, has been diverted and it intercepted the vessel at around 3:15 p.m. today. And secondly, the surveillance is being done by the Predator MQ-9B and, of course, maritime patrol aircraft. Now, essentially, these two developments have happened using the two assets, which is the warship and the patrol aircraft. The second thing in terms of deployment on the ground is that the Marcos, the Indian Navy Marine Commandos, are present on board the ship. So essentially what has happened that yesterday evening, this specific ship that was going towards Bahrain there was an attempted hijacking, and basically all the crew members were able to go inside the safe room. That essentially means that they still have the control of the ship and they were in a safe location while the hijackers were present on the ship. So essentially they were able to quickly do this and involve the Indian Navy. Now, essentially, this is perhaps the third major instance in the region where the Indian Navy assets have been involved. We know that MV Ruin and MV Chem Pluto were other two vessels in the month of December that faced hijacking attempts and also the drone attack. And thereafter, India said that it's going to increase its deployment of its assets, including aircraft and, of course, warships. There are several warships in the region, the Indian warship, and we also know the developments in the Red Sea, the Houthis attack and increased hijacking attempts. So essentially this development coming in the backdrop of the entire volatile development in that area. And also important to point out to our viewers that 15 crew members are Indians on board this specific vessel. So that, of course, increases India's stake. So all in all, India doesn't want to take chances, and as the Indian Defence Minister recently said that in the aftermath of MV Chem Pluto incident that the Indian side will find the perpetrators of the incident from the bottom or the depths of the sea. So that shows the determination of New Delhi in terms of able to also reach out in the Arabian Sea area, but also make sure that there is a messaging that has been sent to any elements who might be indulging in such activities. And one such incident has already happened, the hijacking of this specific vessel, where of course India was quick to act and send its warship and of course maritime patrol aircraft.
Right, Siddhant, and it's important you say that there has been a completely quick response from the Indian Navy, where 24 hours within which the Indian Navy has responded. And I also do want to point out that this was a joint operation, surveillance operation conducted by the maritime patrol aircraft, the Predator MQ-9B that we have just got from America, and the integral Hellos as well. So clearly a very, very motivated operation as well as a very coordinated one from the Indian side.
Yes, of course. In past as well, similar modus operandi has been employed. In fact, if I can talk about MV Chem Pluto, when the drone incident happened, not only the Indian Navy was involved with this warship and its maritime patrol aircraft, but also the Indian Coast Guard was involved. That incident, of course, happened near the Indian exclusive economic zone, not inside, but near it, around 220 nautical miles off the coast of Gujarat, the western state of India. Now, this incident has happened in northern Arabian Sea. So essentially, this is far from the Indian coastline, but nonetheless, this is a significant attempt because first, there are 15 crew members on board this specific vessel. And secondly, of course, how India has increased its deployment in that region because of the increased incidences of drone attacks, the Houthis also, of course, indulging in attacks and, of course, hijacking attempts. And now this is the second major hijacking attempt in which Indian assets have been involved. The past was MV Ruin, which was in the month of December, where, of course, the Indian Navy played an important role in making sure that one injured person from that vessel was taken to a hospital in Oman, and there was a continuous surveillance. But in this specific case, there are 15 Indian crew members, and of course, the Indian vessels which have been deployed, the warship which has been deployed to make sure that there is no untoward incident. Since the crew members are in the safe room, so that makes sure that they are relatively safe. Of course, the hijackers, there are roughly around 5 to 6, according to Navy statement, hijackers on board. So the first attempt will be to negotiate or neutralize them. And when this operation goes underway, this will be an operation which will be which will have several risks involved. But essentially, one thing I would like to point out that the Indian Information Fusion Center, which is based in Gurgaon, plays an important role because it keeps a tab on the vessel movements from Suez Canal till the Straits of Malacca. And in this case also, it played an important part in terms of the sending of alerts.
Clearly, Siddhant, thanks very much indeed for joining us with the very latest updates there. So if you're just tuning in, the Indian Navy Marine Commandos are now present on that hijacked ship, and we believe that 15 crew members are safe. The ship is being sanitized, and there are about less than a dozen pirates on this ship as well. And the next responses we will know in the hours to come.